Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Milwaukee Beer Review. As almost always, I am Josh, and we have a special guest with us today who's going to introduce himself now.
Hey, I am Jon Striegel.
You're not Ross?
I am not Ross.
I mean, we can tell.
You can not see the logo
We
this
can't.
week.
We can't see the logo this week. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
that's what that's not what's important. What's important is this great beer
Yes.
we're going to try. So thanks for joining us, John. Ross is in Jamaica this week, and we said, hey, let's get some of our good friends on the show and get some different opinions on some of this beer that we've been trying. So we've got some stuff today from a brewing company here in Wisconsin called Lion's Tail Brewing Company. So they're actually based out of Neenah, Wisconsin. And like a lot of the cities we've reviewed lately, if you don't know where Neenah is, you're not alone. So Neenah's up there, up a little bit north of the Milwaukee area. They were actually opened in November of 2015, and they're a small batch brewery. So kind of a unique little bit of a spot here. So they're only a 10-barrel brewing company. Everything they brew is very small batch, which is kind of cool.
But they put out a lot. They do like 15, 20, 25 different beers every year. It's crazy the amount of stuff they put out.
Yeah, very, very cool. Lots of new stuff that's coming out every single year. And for a small batch brewery, like you said, kind of interesting how much stuff they do put out.
Yeah.
They also do some collaborations, which we'll touch on a little bit here today too. So another unique thing about them is they are fully electric. So unlike a lot of the breweries in the area, they are fully electric from a brewing perspective. So really kind of a neat little twist on how they do things. So John, introduce us to the first beer here. What are we going to try?
All right. The first beer we're going to be trying out today is the Cranked Witbier. This one over here on the side here. It is a blackberry black tea infused Witbier. So it'll be really interesting because they don't have like the coriander, the orange peel kind of thing that a normal wit beer has. Instead, they're getting that kind of flavoring from blackberry tea.
Yeah.
So it should be really interesting to try out. It's going to have a different fruit profile, obviously, but I'm excited. I think it's going to be very good. I think it's going to be very sweet flavor still.
Yeah, I'm not really a tea fan. We've tried a few other tea-infused beers on this channel, and I was kind of like, meh. But this sounds really, really good. I'm a wit beer fan, so it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. So let's get this thing in the glass and give it a shot. All right, so let's get this cranked open. Whoa, a little carbonation there. All right, so I got to prove to Ross that I can pour a beer here. This is a wit beer. I'm expecting this to be a little bit lighter in color, golden colored ale here. And look at all that carbonation. See, it's not just you, Ross. It's also me. Horrible, horrible. All right, let's get the second glass going here. This will be a little better. Yeah, it looks pretty solid, a little bit hazy, but definitely that traditional golden wit beer color. It's a pretty good looking beer. All right, John, let's get a little nose on the wit beer here. So we'll take a little scent of it here first. I still got a little bit of head on mine because how well I poured this first beer. Hey, it is not my fault. It was extremely carbonated. It came shooting out of that can. So not my fault, Ross. It smells like a wit beer.
It really does. I do get a little bit of like a blackberry scent in there, obviously more than I'm getting like, you don't get like that normal orange tangerine kind of like smell that you normally get.
Yeah,
coriander.
To your point, there's definitely a berry note, I think, on the back end of the scent. Like I get kind of that almost like citrusy note on the front, like you get from a wit beer, but then it's berry on the backside.
Yep.
All right, man. Let's give this thing a go.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's not bad. What do you think?
It definitely has a very strong blackberry tea flavor, though.
It does.
It doesn't taste as much like a beer as I was expecting it to be, like a normal wit beer does. It honestly has like a more fruity flavor, but not like smack you in the face like fruit, like a smoothie beer or something. But it's definitely got some fruit flavor in there.
You know, one of the things with tea-infused beers, and a couple of the ones that we've tried recently, I get this kind of same tonality to the beer on the mouthfeel where there's not a lot of carbonation on the mouthfeel, so it's it feels very flat,
Yes.
like almost like a flat soda. I think the tea really calms down like the carbonation, the bubbly nature to the beer, and it really makes it feel flat on the mouthfeel. That's probably the one negative that I have with this is I don't know that I necessarily like a beer that has that flat note to it like that, unless it's like a rich, like stout porter.
And it was very interesting because, yeah, as you said, when you were pouring the beer, it was very carbonated.
Yep.
It had a lot, sizable head on both of these beers when you poured it, but yeah, like you were saying, it has a very like thin, like feeling, like a mouthfeel.
Yeah.
It's just like it's not there.
Yeah, the front end of the beer is very, I mean, the flavor that I get and the taste notes on this are very similar to the nose. Like the front end is citrusy, the back end I get berry. It's very well blended.
It is.
Like nothing is like really overpowering anything else in the beer. I think the flavor of this beer is really, really good. I wish it just had a little bit more of a carbonated mouthfeel.
I think if you're a fan of tea-infused beers, this is going to be right up your alley. Mm-hmm. I think it does that very well.
Yep.
If you're not a fan of tea-infused beers, I don't think this is going to convert anybody to that style of drink. But overall, it's very good.
Yeah. Not my favorite Lion's Tail beer I've ever had. If I'm putting this in Untappd with a rating, I'm probably putting it in around 3.25.
I'm probably putting it in around a 3.
It's a little bit above average to me, like just from the perspective of just overall perspective, but about 3.25 I think is a fair rating on this.
Yep.
All right. So one down. So up next we have a beer called Venti is 20. Now this one here is a cream ale. This is a caramel macchiato cream ale. So very, very interesting stuff here. This is brewed with espresso beans, caramel malt, vanilla beans, and cocoa nibs, along with some lactose for kind of that cream ale note to the beer. What else is interesting about this? This is the collaboration beer we were talking about. So one of our other favorite breweries in the area is Eagle Park Brewing Company. They're based out of Muskego as well as downtown Milwaukee. They have 2 locations. This was a collaboration with them, and most of the stuff I've gotten from Eagle Park historically has been really, really solid. So excited to try this. This one comes in at an ABV of 7.1%. So let's get this thing in the glass and see what we think. Yeah. Thing open here. So this is the Venti is 20. Let's see if I can do a better job pouring this guy. I'm expecting this to be darker. Not significantly, though. It's definitely a little darker than we saw with the tea-infused beer. Still a ton of carbonation and head on that first pour. Ross. Looks pretty good, though. I mean, pretty solid. It's a little hazy, which I kind of expected with this. But it's a cream ale, so that's fairly normal for this style. Like I said, a little bit darker, some really decent carbonation in there. Let's see what comes through when we try it. All right, John, let's get a little nose on the caramel macchiato cream ale.
Not as strong of a smell as I was expecting.
If you get in there, I do get a little bit of caramel.
Yeah.
But definitely a lot tamer on the nose than I was expecting based on the description on the can.
I'm getting I'm getting the caramel scent. I'm getting like that sugary sweetness, but I'm also getting like something toasted in there.
Really? I'm not getting that at all.
I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but
I'm mostly just getting some caramel sweetness. I was expecting like coffee or espresso or something in there, but
same thing. I was expecting like a strong coffee scent. And it is very like sugary, caramely smell.
Yeah.
With a little bit of something else in the back there, but
it'll be interesting to see what we get on the taste notes of this. So Let's give it a go. Cheers, buddy.
There you go. Cheers.
Interesting.
It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm. A lot sweeter than I was anticipating. And not the kind of sweetness, like I was thinking like that caramel, like almost like like rich sweetness, but this is like sweet.
Yeah.
Like citrus sweet.
Again, I was expecting like similar to the scent, I was expecting to pick up a bit more of like a coffee flavor because there is espresso in there and it is, macchiato, but I'm basically just kind of getting like a sweet, sugary caramel cream ale flavor. It's very, very rich, like sweetness.
Yeah, the front of the beer, I get kind of like that citrus sweet, almost bordering on like tartness on the front end of the beer. But then the caramel flavors really kind of come through. I do get a little bit of like espresso or coffee out the back end of the beer. And then the sweetness holds pretty strongly throughout. Definitely significantly more carbonated than the last beer we had.
Yep.
So the mouthfeel on this is a lot better, in my opinion, than what I saw on the first beer. I will say, though, based on the description of this, I had higher expectations for this, and maybe that was just my own expectations. This is a good beer. I think it's well made, well put together, but I don't know that it necessarily hits that caramel macchiato expectation.
I had really high hopes for this because the Lion's Tail, their normal cream ale, the Tail, is one of my favorite cream ales. And
I don't think I've ever had it.
It's very good. And so I figured like, oh, they're partnering with Eagle Park and it's going to be basically, I was hoping it was just going to basically be their cream ale base with like some caramel macchiato coffee flavoring. I thought it was going to be delicious.
Yeah.
It's like, so I don't know if it was just a case of me building it up a little bit too much in my head, but it's not quite hitting what I was hoping it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's still good, but it's not, honestly, I don't think it's as good as their normal cream ale.
Okay.
I think if somebody was offering me this and then just the regular Lion's Tail cream ale, I would probably just get the regular cream ale.
Yeah, that's fair. So you're a little bit more familiar with their cream ale. I mean, what would you put this in on Untappd?
This I would probably do a bit higher than the Cranked. I would probably put this in at like 3.25, 3.5. Okay. The regular cream ale for me would probably be like a 4, 4.25.
Wow. Okay. That's a big difference.
It is.
I'm going to give this a bump up on, definitely on the Cranked. I'm going to put this at a 3.5. So I'm just a quarter step ahead of you on each of these. I think this is a really well-made beer. It's really well put together, but like I said, it doesn't really quite meet the expectations of the description on the can. I had higher expectations for it. Doesn't mean it's a bad beer by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Very drinkable, very well-made beer. Just, I don't think it quite hits expectations.
Yep.
All right. So, last one. You want to introduce this one, John?
So the last one we're going to be doing is the Hyper Space Double IPA. This is the one that I am least looking forward to because I am not a fan of IPAs.
So glad we have one.
Josh knew this, and he decided to get a double IPA for me.
Because screw you, John.
Yeah, there you go. Because Ross is on vacation, so let's bring in a guest and give him the beer he doesn't want to try.
That's right. That makes it more fun.
So this is a New England-style double IPA. It comes in at 9.5% alcohol, so it's got a bit of a kick to it. It's based off of the Lion's Tail Space Cloud, but it has even more of the Galaxy hops, hence why it's called Hyperspace. So this thing is going to be very potent. It's going to be very IPA flavored, but they say that they've balanced it out a little bit, so it's not supposed to be quite as bitter, but, we'll see. Coming from somebody who's not a huge fan of IPAs versus somebody who does drink a lot of IPAs, it'll be interesting to see where we come out on this one.
I'm excited for you to try it.
Yes.
Let's get this thing in the glass and give it a go. All right, let's get this open. This is the Hyperspace IPA, and I am going to try to pour this really, really well this time. Oh, look at that, right down the side of the glass. Look at all that IPA-ness. So good. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. It looks really good. Nice and hazy, that traditional New England style IPA look to it. Really like that look. It looks good in the glass too, these fancy IPA glasses we've got. So, good looking beer. John's favorite kind, the double IPA. All right, John, let's get a little nose on the Hyperspace Double IPA. Oh, yeah.
Right off the bat. That is
Boom.
Definitely an IPA right there.
bitterness, hop aroma.
Yep.
There's definitely like a citrusy sweetness behind the hop bitterness on the nose that I'm getting. But primary note on the nose, it's a double IPA,
Yes.
as expected. Hops.
It is very hazy.
It is, yep, which is that New England style. Yep. I did not get out an IBU reading on this, so I don't know what this is from an international bittering units perspective. We'll be curious to see what this tastes like, since they do say that the bitterness is a little bit subtle. So
Yeah.
let's give this thing a shot. Cheers.
Cheers.
That is not super bitter.
No, that is surprisingly mellow.
It's really smooth.
Yes.
It's actually...
I suppose not mellow is not the word I'm looking for, but yeah, it definitely has the strong hoppy IPA flavor.
For sure.
But it is very smooth, especially considering it's a double.
It's super smooth. There's almost a creaminess to it. Definitely good carbonation, the mouthfeel right where you'd expect a double IPA like this. It's actually kind of interesting. The front end of the beer is actually a little bit weaker. I feel like the hop bitterness and those traditional double IPA notes really accelerate through the back end of the beer. Like first taste right on the front end, you don't get a lot of it, but it comes through a little bit later. It's a little delayed.
Yeah. You get a bit of like a citrusy kick right off the front, and like you were saying, on the back end, like after you've swallowed or whatever, you kind of do get that nice like IPA hoppy bitterness.
Yeah, almost like shifting into, hyperdrive.
Going to hyperspace.
It takes a second, right? It takes a second. This is really good, actually. I'm a pretty big fan of this. I'm curious what you think, since you're not an IPA fan.
Yeah, I'm not normally an IPA drinker, and so the thing is, like, I would never buy like a 6-pack of IPA. I'll occasionally order one at a bar or something, and I'll have one here and there, but it's got to be one I really like. But I got to say that I would definitely order this at a bar. Again, I wouldn't, buy a 6-pack of it because it's just not my preferred beer style, but it's good. If I was in the mood for this, I would definitely order one of these when I'm at the bar.
Yeah, I think this is actually bordering on the line of a milkshake IPA, like just the texture and the mouthfeel on this and the creaminess to it.
It
kind
is.
of feels like a milkshake style IPA a little bit.
Yeah, it really like clings in there, like coats your tongue.
Yeah, this is really solid. Untappd, I'm probably putting this in around a 4. I think this is a really, really solid IPA. Easily the best out of these 3 beers based on how it was described, the expected taste notes, the mouthfeel on this, really, really solid. I'm going to put it in at a 4.
I think I would probably go somewhere right around there. I'm not a normal IPA fan, but this is very drinkable, very tolerable for somebody like me. I would probably put this at like 3 1/4 or 4. And I'll agree with you. Out of the 3 we tried today, the one that I was least looking forward to, just because I'm not an IPA fan, probably wound up being my favorite of the 3 today, just because it's good all around. It really is. It's got a very nice texture. It's got a very good flavor. It's not too bitter, but it definitely hits you with the hops, but it doesn't smack you over the head with it, But,
it's very drinkable. Very drinkable. Well, awesome. Really good stuff here from Lion's Tail. I've had some really great stuff from them in the past as well, so I'm glad we got a chance to get them here on the channel. I'm sure there'll be a lot more opportunities to as we move forward. Thank you, Jon, for joining us as well. Great to get some different opinions and thoughts on the channel of some of this stuff that we're trying. So check us out on the rest of our social media channels. We'll be putting these in Untappd. We've also got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter going. So check us out on all those social media platforms. Check us out here on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit that little bell icon. Would love for you to get some notifications as we're putting out new videos pretty much on a weekly basis at this point. So thanks for checking out what we're doing here. Thanks again to Jon Striegel here for joining us on the channel today, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. it better.
You know how that dude, what is the pitching ninja or whatever? How he does like the
Boy?
Yeah, he does the overlays of like the. We should do an overlay of me and you doing a video versus Ross, and show the distance.
Look at this. Look at this.
Look at
this.
Okay. It feels like way smaller back here with me and John. Hi, I'm Ross.
Just my eyes.
We represent.
Just my eyes poking above the counter.
I am a dick.